자, 현재 시간을 입력하십시오. 지금 시간이 오전 1시 18분. 이걸 굳이 정확히 맞힐 이유가 있을까요? 1시 19분이네. 오케이. 잠시만요. 잠시만. What? 제가 시작하기 전에 한마디 해도 될까요? 제가 2번 모두 게임을 시작했는데 시간을 맞춰주셔서 감사합니다. 아까 실행 확인하려고 제 옆에 잠깐만 저기 오류가 잠깐 뜨는데 잠깐만 좀 해보다가 저기 계속 뜨면은 저거 뭘 좀 해야 될 것 같아. 아까 실행을 한번 테스트를 해봤는데 그때도 시간을 맞춰줬거든요. 많은 사람들이 그 조치를 심각하게 받아들이지 않는다. 그들은 그저 12시에 시간을 맞춰놓고 퇴근한다. 하지만 실제로 시간을 내서 시간을 맞추시는군요. 감사합니다. 맞춰달라며. 자, 그래서 당신이 이 경험에 대해 관심을 갖고 있다는 걸 알고 있어요. 당신이 관심을 갖고 있다는 거죠. 당신이 설정한 시간이 맞는지조차 알 길이 없어요. 모르겠지. 거래 조건이다. 이렇게 협조적이었으니 다음에 게임을 부팅하고 이 화면을 볼 때는 시계를 원하는 시간으로 설정하십시오. 어서 네가 원하는 시간을 골라. 정확한 시간이 아니더라도 넌 그럴 자격이 있어. 좋아, 이제 비디오 게임으로 들어가게 해줄게. 이게 아마 게임이 계속 실행할수록 지금 한글 테스트 중인데 이게 좀 깨지는 부분들이 있는데 감안해서 보시면 될 것 같아요. 일단은 게임을 시작해 볼게요. 아직 정확한 한글 패치는 아니에요.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
행복했으면 됐지 뭐. 자,
And then one
427번
day,
기본.
something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for
일이 안
him to
들어오고 있어.
follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say
다
hi.
사라졌어.
Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
고립.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses,
좀 전부터
he got up
플레이하고
from his
있는 거야.
desk and stepped out of his office.
조금 전에 시작했습니다. 자, 일단 오늘 스탠리 패러블 잠깐만요. 울트라 디럭스가 나와가지고 이게 2013년도에 있는 오리지널에서 그대로 거기서 이제 추가가 된 버전인 것 같은데 또 플레이를 해보도록 하겠습니다. 잠깐만, 왜 이렇게 미끄러지냐 이게? 움직임이? 일단 플레이를 해보자. 밖으로 나와서 429번 없고요. 128번 열리지 않죠.
All of his co-workers were gone, What could it
그 이동님
mean?
모두 떠났다.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
회의실로. 다 없어. 가자. 빨리빨리 진행하는 게 나을 것 같아. 회의실이 어딨니? 잠깐만, 회의실이 어디지? 400.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
왼쪽 문으로 들어갔다고? 그걸 따라줘야 될까 내가? 일단 가보자. 왼쪽. 다쳤어. 오케이, 회의실.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he
상사의
might find
사무실.
an answer there.
잠깐만, 이거 게임이 조금, 잠깐만. 뭐지? 조절 좀 해야 되나? 좀 어지러운 것 같기도 하고.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
베스로. 여기요? 사무실?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
2845.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
난 어떻게 하라고 그럼? 아, 이거? 오케이.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
오늘
He stepped
야,
into
방금
the newly
알려줬잖아.
opened passageway.
새로 뚫린 통로? 분위기 이상하다. 오, 뭐지? 창고. 예. 내려가기. 야, 아직 한글판은 안 나왔고요. 제가 그냥 테스트
Descending deeper
중이에요.
into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
한글판은 금방 뭐 어차피 그 오리지널에서 좀 추가된 거라고 알고 있어서 금방 나올 것 같아요.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
마인드 컨트롤. 여긴 뭐야? 어? 야, 탈출구가 있는데? 여긴 뭐임? 저기로 굳이? 저기 뭐야? 못한 데가 있는데 이쪽으로 가보자. 탈출.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
폭력적인 죽음? 무서운데? 아, 진짜 죽을 것 같은데 이거? 뭐가 있는데? 뭐가 있는데? 뭐 이렇게 길어?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
돌아가라고 하는데 너무 멀리 와 버렸는데? 근데 진짜
At
죽을
this
것
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
야 이거 잠깐만 끝이 없는 것 같은데. 어? 있네. What? 여기요? 뭐지? 아 여기까지 왔는데 들어갈 수는 없어. 뭔지 설마 떨어진다. What? 안 죽었는데? 저기요?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected
Oh my
that his
God.
life had been of no
Hey.
consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking
뒤에서
the
계속 밀어.
eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end
Oh my,
to his
야 지나가.
brief and shallow
Oh my
life.
God.
Farewell, Stanley.
No, no. 야. 야. 걸렸어.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
No. 뭐야? 아, 떨어지는 거야? 아닌데? 아, 이제 시작인가? 잠깐만, 아래가 안 보여.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his
아,
office
잠깐만.
as alive
저기요?
as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
아니, 저기요. 설마. 뒤에 안 보여. 여기 어디야?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit
야,
start?
1번부터 3번까지 방이야. 대박. 아, 깨진다. 오. 오케이, 잘 봤고요. 가자. 아, 지금 몇 개 이게 다 깨지네 지금. 일단은 계속 진행을 해볼게요. 이게 뭐지? 같은 데인가? 아래쪽이네. What? 잠깐만. 아까 내가 안 간, 설마, 잠깐만. 위로 올라가 보자. 이런 걸 왜 전시를 해놓는 거야? 에?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
이쪽으로 가면 안 될 것 같아. 어? 427. 427. 어? What? 뭔데? 터지냐? 전화가 오는 건가? 아무것도 안 일어나. 어? 아, 이 뭐야? 라운지, 포스트 초이스. 어? 또 안 하는데? 나가는 곳. 아까 거기 아니냐? 그리고 이쪽으로 나가야 되나봐. 나 스위치가 있다. 자, 온오프인데 지금 번역이 좀.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me.
잠깐만, 여기요?
You can stop the
왜
program.
다시 돌아왔어 여기?
Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Oh no. 진짜로 죽였어. 설마 처음부터 What? 아니
All of his co-workers were gone.
아니
What did it
나
mean?
진짜
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
이거 진짜로 죽이네. 나
When
오른쪽으로
Stanley
간다
came to
이번에.
a set of two open doors, this
왼쪽
was
안 갈
not the
거야.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
지금 안 갈
well.
거야.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire
지금
it.
휴게실? 휴게실이.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all. Just to spend a but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
여기? 안 갈 건데. 뭐야?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
잠깐만 갈 데가 오케이.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing
내려가.
but you
no.
all this time. In his eagerness to
Oh my
prove that he's
God.
in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
점프가 안 되네. 거기 충분히 내려갈 수 있었는데.
All
이거
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
다시
When
간다.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was
이렇게
not the
갈 거야.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
대박.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been
점프가 안
about
돼, 이거.
nothing but you all this time. There's
Okay.
someone you've been neglecting,
간다.
Stanley. Someone you forgot. What?
오케이.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
아까 거기 아니냐 여기?
Now
가려고
listen
했어?
carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
아니 파란 쪽으로 갔구나.
Aha, perhaps
Oh,
you
no.
misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red
아
door.
파란 쪽으로 갈 거라니까.
I still don't think we're
Hey.
communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
뭐야?
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here.
야, 뭐야, 돌구지야, 지금.
running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Hey?
Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
뭐야? 똑같은 건데? 아, 왜 이렇게 뭐야? 아니? 설마 또 떨어져서 죽는 건가? 여기요? 어?
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
탈출 건가?
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
어? 에이.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
아니 저기요. 야 열어. 아니. 어? 아니 아까 거기잖아.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
뭐 하라는 거야 여기서? 어? 에? 뭐야 이거? 눈 아파. 뭐지 이게 지금? 아 눈뽕. 아 뭐냐고. 다시 가야겠는데? 뭐야?
No! What did we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
아니 뭐 진행이 안 되잖아 지금. 뭐 하라고 이거?
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
뭐 하라는 거야 여기서? 뭐가 안 생길 것 같은데? 아 아닌데.
heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
뭐지 갑자기 진행이 안 되네? 뭐야 다 지나갔냐? 너무 꼼꼼한데? 너무 꼼꼼한데? 아 뭐해 잠깐만 나 진짜 얘네 나의 시간을 이렇게 뭐지? 영상의 시간 계속 나올 것 같은데? 죽어야 끝나는 건가? 일단 기다려 보자고. 일단 기다려 보겠습니다. 또 언제까지 하겠어 이거? 앵그리버드가 너무 어려우시다고요. 근데 계속 하다 보면 익숙해져서 정답은 그냥 계속 하다 보면 그냥 되는 거죠. 근데 이거 언제까지 하는 건지 아니 잠깐만 이거 안 변하는데 지금 이제 잠깐만 변하는 것 같지가 않은데? 헬로? 야, 내 떨어져야 돼 저기서? 이제 뭐야 나레이션도 안 나와. 야, 문 열어. 여기 문 하나 있던데? 야, 열리는 게 아닌가? 설마. 아니 말도 안 돼 이거. 갈 데가 여기밖에 없다고? 난 절대 자살하지 않을 거야. 아니 이거 잠깐만 이거 이제 말도 없네. 차라리 여기서 떨어지겠다. 난 차라리 여기서 떨어질게. 떨어질 수가 없네. 막혔어. 어이가 없네. 자 일단 여기서는 아니 뭐야 이거. 다이빙 때도 아니고 아래에 세수 다이라도 갖다 주던가. 고 번지. 예. 안 죽었어. 예.
Thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
야, 물 열라고 그러니까. 어디가 열렸어? 뭐 아니잖아. 위야 뭐야? 아까 그 문이 열렸나? 갑자기 얘가 나이.
No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back.
아니.
Why are you doing this?
잠깐만, 이거 뭐야? 아니.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
지금 갈 수 있는 데가 없잖아 지금. 아까 들어가는 길이 있나?
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that.
아니 진짜. 아니 미쳤다 이거. 제가 여기서 살려는 거야 뭐야? 아니 딴 데 갈 데가 미친. 아 이런 식으로 내 시간을 죽인다고 지금? 다시 계속 떨어지겠어. 왜 이렇게 느려졌어 갑자기?
No, perhaps not.
아니 다리라도 부러졌어. 뭐야 갑자기 왜 이렇게 느려졌어? 나 뭐 아니, 갑자기 너무 느려졌는데?
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
아니 갈
You'll
수 있는
throw
데를
yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it?
아니 갈 수
You
있는
were
데를
literally willing to
만들라고.
kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
아니
Am I reading the situation
죽지도
correctly?
않잖아 지금.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick
점점
out.
느려져.
I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to
점점
ask.
느려져.
It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
아 그러니까 문 열어. 아이씨 똥개.
Is it over?
죽었네.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
아 이 자식. 오케이. 자
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
오케이.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
Okay.
memo.
자
When Stanley came to a set of two open
그래,
doors,
할게요.
he
알았어.
entered the door on his left.
빠른 진행을 위해서 이제 앞으로 그냥 말한 대로 가도록 할게요.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office,
Okay.
Stanley was once again stunned to
몇 번이었지?
discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk.
그러니까 몇
What could its
번이었냐고.
purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that
몇
lay
번이었지?
buried below his feet.
뭐
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number,
284.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
요. 아니 말한 대로 안 하면 죽인다고 자꾸? 이런 게임.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large
Okay,
door
알았어,
of the
갈게.
red mind control facility.
마인드 컨트롤. 예.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fire.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers.
Wow.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Go.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
이건가? 뭐야 이거? 5번. 잠깐 저기 번호가 다 있나 본데? 뭐야 여기는? 기다려 잠깐만. 번호대로 눌러봐야 되는 건가? 아닌데. 이쪽에 1번, 2번. 아닌데? 들어가는 느낌이 아니야. 다른 번호는 다 어딨지? (1번) (2번) (5번밖에 없는데 지금? 아 저 위에 저기 앞에 2개 있는 것 같아. 3번 4번인가 이거?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
이것만 누르면 되는 거였어? 시스템 파워? 뭐 파워 오프 해야 되는 거 아니야? 온? 오프 아니? What?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
이야, 탈출이다. 예,
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
원래 스탠리 패러블을 원래 뭐 원래 가지고 있던 게임이긴. 저 뭐야? 저기요? What? 아니.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
아 뭐야 밖으로 나 아니 밖으로 나간 줄 알았더니 뭐야 지금 끊겼어 보여.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
똑같이 잠깐만 똑같아져 있는 거 아니겠지? 아까 이쪽으로 해서
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
왼쪽으로
perfectly
나가는
well.
데가 있었는데 이쪽
Perhaps he wanted to
들어갔죠.
stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on
아까
his
이쪽으로 안
left,
갔었는데 이쪽으로 한번 가볼게요.
and so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
What? 다시 갔다가 돌아왔다고? 뭔 얘기야? 여기요. 아니 이게 이렇게 이어진다고?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
아까 그 타고
disbelief,
내려가 볼 거야.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a
아래는
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
아래는 뭐냐고. 아, 다 가봐야 되겠어.
But
나
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during
다
work
아무도 없는데
hours.
무슨
He
얘기야
might be
지금.
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
아 잠깐만.
At last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He
아, 이
just
루프는
hadn't
뭐지?
found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't
얘가
crazy
얘기
after
끝날
all.
때까지 계속 돌게
He thought to
만드는 것
himself,
같아.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
어? 이거 뭐야?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too
갑자기 무중력
appeared.
뭐야?
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still
아니.
not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
아 뭐야?
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
야 뭐야 달라진 게 없잖아. 그냥 눈만 감았다 뜬 거
Stanley
아니야?
began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
야
And everything went black.
암전.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
마리엘라?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
한순간에 저 생각을 다 했다고? 아니 저기요. 아 미치겠네. 아까 죽은 거는 누구야? 스탠리야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
아까 그거 타고 내려가 보자.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
여기 가면
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
뭐야? 여기 가면은 다 가본 거
Stanley didn't want
같은데.
to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh no, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
잠깐만 이제 장난쳐?
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down...
Oh my god.
Left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
아까 다 봤어. 아까 다 봤다고.
We just go back to oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game
아니,
from the
저기요?
beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
아니 잠깐만 아니 가는 길 다 아니 다 가봤잖아. 다 가봤는데.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
아니 내가 안 가본 길이 없는 것 같은데 이제. 아까 오른쪽 뭐야 문이 왜 안 열려 있음?
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then, it's an adventure. Come, Stanley, let's find the story.
와우. 잠깐 이쪽을 아예 막아놨네. 점프. 원래 이 앞에 두 개만 열렸었거든. 같은 데 아니야 여기? 뭐지? 하여튼 이쪽으로 가보자. 아니 저기요? 이쪽으로 가보자.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before.
잠깐만.
Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why
이쪽으로
not?
나왔네. 잠깐. 아이씨. 아니.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oof.
What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
아니
a
가고
memo.
있는데 왜? 잠깐만. 지멋대로 지금.
Okay, yep,
What?
it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
열어. 책상에 뭐 있음?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The
뭔데?
story. Here it comes.
어디? 왜 이렇게 어두워졌어? What? 아이.
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
네?
Now this...
뭐냐?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
아이. 뭐야 이건 또. 뭐야?
Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get
Adventure
lost,
line?
I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
이게 잠깐만 이쪽은 어디야?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on.
야.
That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
아,
You know what?
이게
I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
아, 스크린샷이 여기였구나. 아, 시끄러워. 잠깐만. 볼륨을 좀 줄여야 될까? 이렇게 진행. 잠깐만. 볼륨 좀 줄여야 될 것 같아. 아니, 갑자기.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
아, 이제 좀 조용해졌다. 씨.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line,
What?
you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
아, 씨.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
아.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
야.
What do you want our story
야,
to be?
돌고 있구만, 무슨.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley.
Oh my
I'm
God.
ready for it.
야, 아니 뭐, 야, 뭐지?
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay,
What?
so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with that counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
What? 뭐야 이게 지금?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight
아니,
times?
8번이라고
Really
지금?
how all this goes? It's all determined?
아니 아까 했던 게 지금 여기 다 써 있는 거야 지금.
Restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
아씨. 야, 갑자기 뭐야? 아니, 갑자기, 잠깐만. 볼륨 좀만 올리자. 아까 음악 때문에 잠깐 내렸었는데. 야, 안 나갈래, 그냥. 야, 여기서 할게. 굳이 뭐. 아니, 미치겠네. 도대체 퇴근할 때 어떻게 나간 거야, 여기?
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
어? New content?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
야. 알 수가 없어. 아이, 뭐야, 지금 무조건. 오케이.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
야, 잘 만들었다 이거.
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
야, 뭐야, 여기서부터 새로 추가된 건가?
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
이게
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we
야,
be
같이잖아.
moving somewhere? Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
앞으로 몇 시간일까? 플레이 타임이. 일단 엔딩을 봤으면 좋겠는데.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if
지루하다.
Okay, let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
예.
All right, let's see it.
점프 서클?
The jump circle?
얘 뭐야? 스페이스. 점프가 생겼어요. 유캔. 나 이거 웃기네. 오케이, 가자. 점프.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
35번 남은 거야 지금. 야, 점프를 35번밖에 할 수가 없어 앞으로.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. Oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
아래 뭐가 있는 거야? 아니 내가 아까 시간을 맞췄는데 왜 저...
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
야, 설마 또 처음... 아니야? 잠깐만, 이씨. 에?
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
진짜. 야, 어떻게 가는데, 여긴. 자동으로 숙여지고요. What? 이 뭐야?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
뭐냐 이 중세풍은? 진짜 나가는 거지?
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
$1? 데모 버전. 야. 진짜 뉴욕타임즈에 나왔었어 이게? 대박이네. 오. 야, 뭐야 갑자기 노래 뭐지? 야, 이 저작권 있는 거 아니지?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
아, 이런 얘기를 하고 싶었구나. 2로 안 나온 이유가 있는 것 같은데 지금.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com.
아니 잠깐만.
The Stanley Parable is
Wow,
both a richly
미쳤다.
stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
아니 그래 잘 만든 게임이긴 한데 이걸 아씨 무슨 자뻑 타임은 좀 오케이. 야 어디야? 이 열린 거 아니냐 이거? 아 점프. 야 아까 점프 내가 남았는데 왜 점프가 안 돼? 야 거기서만 쓸 수 있는 거야? 아니 점프가 안 돼. 아까 씨. 아니 점프가 왜 안 되냐고.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
What? Review?
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
어디가 없고요?
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
아니 뭐야? 아니 뭐 좋아요가 있으면 싫어요도 있는 거지 뭘? 저걸 저렇게 써먹는다고? 야 게임에서 이렇게 나올 줄 알았으면 영어로 내가 또 있네. 뭐야 이거?
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
아 뭐야 저게 스킵 버튼이야? 이거 뭐야?
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue. And it goes something like this. The story and the choices are what happen, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 245. That the logic of elimination
이렇게 계속 이어진다고?
therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a
진짜 아무 말 되지 않지. 뭐지 이거 지금?
It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say,
the story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah.
했던 얘기 또 하죠.
We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No,
했던
until
얘기 계속하고
245.
이제
That the logic of elimination
이제 할 얘기
backwards,
끝났죠.
the deduction therefore becomes
이-
impossible.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are or were or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made in fact make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both
아
are
진짜
and are
말장난
not making them.
뭐지?
Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. Ah. See, now you've got me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look.
와
I have a
대단하다
method for
진짜.
exactly this sort
아니
of
이게 지금
situation. And I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other.
아니 이거
In which
보는
case the
사람이
word
계속
I
보는
must
사람이
sick
있을
of
거
shall
생각하고
be the
지금
victor.
더빙을 계속 한
It
거
is an
아니야?
unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise,
아
manifesto.
오케이 스킵.
Treatise. Well, there, sport. You really did
이제
catch me
언제까지 할 거야
randomly,
너?
didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the word perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial, something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted, offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment. You are not beyond redemption. You may change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience. It leaves me
뭐 다 읽고 있는 거야
as a
지금?
community, as a world. There is time for us to become our greatest
Okay.
selves.
오케이.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that
아니,
the amount
저기요.
of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself
와
about.
진짜 잠깐만 이거를
But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the
와
room.
진짜 대단하다. 야 추가 콘텐츠를 여기 지금 여기 더빙에 다 썼어 지금.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked
이
every
사람이
one
이걸
of
위해서
those
더빙을 몇 시간을 한 거야.
times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button.
Okay,
and if you
button.
keep pressing it, I have...
오케이.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh my goodness, I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week, or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't...
야 드디어 나가는 거야? 제발.
Hello.
Oh my
You,
God.
You're here again, welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
어? Hello? Hello. 야, 나왔다. 조용해졌네. 어, 뭐야? What? 뭐 어디서 소리가 나는 거야? 어디서 소리가 나는 거야? 아 몰라.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut.
진짜 대단하다.
The end is never the end, 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 is...
어? 야, 얼마나 지난 거야, 이거 뭐야? 야, 뭐 태풍이라도 안, 뭐야? 이게 뭐야? 어? 아니, 벽은 왜 안 뚫리는 거야? 천정만 뚫리고 벽은 안 뚫리냐고. 아니, 잠깐만. 아니, 와, 나 진짜 대단하다. 야, 아니, 넝쿨 자꾸 어떻게 못 올라가니? 야, 이거 자꾸 올라가면 되겠구만. 야, 그 점프 어디 갔어? 아니, 아, 잠깐만, 이런 식으로 지금 콘텐츠를 채운다고? 아니, 뭐야, 좀, What? 열렸다. 이 자식. 열렸어. 나간다. 뭐야? 아니, 사막에 있다고, 이게? 아, 음악은 또 쓸데없이 좋아. 미치겠어. 잠깐만, 일단 나온 대로 똑바로 가보자. 뭐. 특별히 방향이 있는 거 아닌 것 같아. 어느 정도 가면은 또 오케이. 와, 아니 왜 여기 있냐고 항상.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
야, 뭐 아까 봤잖아 이거. 아니 뭐야 이거 지금.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
아니 아까 본 거 아니야. 뭐야. 아니, 여기 넘어가는 것도 무슨 로딩을 해.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be.
진짜 실망스러워. 실망스러워.
Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable
What?
2.
야, 잠깐만. 이게 뭐 예고편이야, 뭐야.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
뭐야, 쇼케이스?
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
돈 좀 버셨나봐요. What?
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
뭐야? 버스? 버스? 아니, 그래서 만들었어, 안 만들었어? 아니, 무슨 포스터만 10대장 만든 것 같은데?
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
새로운 기능? 쟤 뭐야? 돌아가네?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
네.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name
Jim.
Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button. Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
미친 건가? 아니.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
야, 뭐 다른 걸로 나오든가 뭐. 여기 끝인가? 나 진짜 씨. 미친 건가?
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable too. That would actually save me the work of finishing. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
저게 스탠리였어? 얼굴 처음 보는 것 같은데. 확정세계 챔피언? 뭐야 이게? 와. 뭐? 약간
You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
이쪽으로 나오면 점프가 안 돼. 누구세요? 뭐지 이건?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
뭐야 버블레드야 뭐야? 야. 헤이? 뭐지? 아 진짜 버블레드. 아 뭐 해야 되는 거야? 설마 이 안에서도 찾아서 뭐라는 거야?
It really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
여기 안 가본 데인가? 아 저쪽에 나왔잖아 그 저쪽에서. 그쪽은 뭐지? 들어가 보자.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
업적?
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
업적 따위.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
이쪽으로 나왔지. 이쪽에 뭐야? 어?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
미친. 야 진짜 이거 끝없이 추락할 것 같다 진짜. 오.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue on. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
다 봤지 이제. 본 것 같은데. 진짜 이런 걸 만들려고 이걸 모델링을 이걸 전부 다 해놓은 거란 말이야? 대단하다. 다 본 거 같은데? 아닌가? 저기 뭐가 있나 여기? 지도. 뭐야, 내가 안 본 게 있나?
Oh, goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the bucket. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the bucket, okay?
What?
All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
What? 뭐야?
No? You're just going to ignore my advice? Fine. No fun new content for you then. You're the one who spent money on this game.
아니 뭐가 있는데 다 본 거 아니? 아니 버킷이 어딨어? 뭐 어디냐고. 지하 2층에 있다고? 저기인데? 어디지? 저기 아래 있다고? 뭐지? 잠깐만 이건 뭐 초대 안 봤었나? 아 아까 내가 저쪽으로 돌아가지고. 자 여기는 뭐지? 아 여기네.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
아니, 이게 말이야, 망구야. 이게. 나 진짜.
Can you feel it?
웃겨?
The glow of
웃어?
comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
가져가라고? 야, 이거 갖다 어디다 쓰냐? 너나 가져. 야, 뭐야 이거. 야, 버릴 수도 없어. 뭐야 이거. 아니, 갑자기
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
야, 뭐야. 아니, 야, 열어. 뭐야. 같이. 여기는? 뭔데? 아, 고르라고 진짜? 아, 나 진짜. 아, 그래, 이렇게 이거 할게.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get well someday it is.
야, 왜 누르라고 했어? 이것도 누를 거야.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
가자. 아, 이거 양동이 뭐야? 아니, 양동이를 들고 가게 해놨네. 어디다 쓰는 거지?
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
뭐? 야 뭐야 그냥 다 모아놓은
Well,
거구만.
I mean, there's potential here.
아니 뭐야 이게.
Sort of. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
툴에서
And I
홀이
do very much enjoy
모르겠어.
creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
What? 이게 진짜 끝이라고? 야 이거 보여주면서 끝나는 거야 진짜? 이게 뭐지? 아 이게 깨져가지고 지금 안 보이네. 이거 설정인가? 위에는 뭐지? 그냥 메인 화면으로 가는 것 같은데. 이 뭐가 뭐 나오려나? 뭐야 같은 거 아님 지금 계속? 아무튼 이게 2가 나오긴 한다는 거 같은데 뭐 개발은 하고 있겠죠. 근데 뭐 해놓은 게 없는 것 같은데? 이것만 봐서는. 그리고 또 언제 나오려고? 한 2030년 되면 나오는 건가? 오케이, 잘 봤고요. 그러니까 이게 뭔지 모르겠어. 이거
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
처음부터잖아.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number
처음부터 맞지, 이거?
427. Employee number 427's job.
이게 다 깨지네 지금. 아, 여기 화면이 지금 다 깨지는구나. 이게 설정인가? 오케이. 오케이, 잘 봤고요. 뭐 나중에 2가 나오면 플레이를 해보도록 하겠습니다. 아무튼 자, 다들 봐주셔서 고맙습니다. 여기까지.